In this video we're going to do a little example of dividing with polynomial division and synthetic division. And in this case we're going to get a remainder, so let's see what happens. So here's our question. We want to divide with long division. So let's try it out here. So we have our numerator here. That's going to be our dividend, and this is our divisor, x minus 3. And so let's take 3x cubed minus 2x squared. Now notice we're missing an x to the first term here. That doesn't exist. Well, we need to include that here as a 0x, as a placeholder. It's easy to forget, so watch out for that. X minus 3. And let's start our division. So we ask ourselves how many times x goes into 3x cubed. And so we need to have a 3 and an x squared. And you can write this lots of different ways. I like to line up the x squareds because we're going to fill in all these other terms here as we go. And we multiply 3x squared times x minus 3. And that gives us 3x cubed minus 9x squared. Then we're going to subtract, and these cancel out, making 0. And you can watch out here, negative 2x squared minus negative 9x gives us positive 7x squared. Bring down the 0x, and we ask ourselves, how many times does x go into x squared? Well, we need to have plus 7x. And we multiply, and that gives us 7x squared minus 21x. Subtract, and we get positive 21x. Bring down the minus 1. And we say, what do we multiply x by to get this? And it's going to be 21. So we're going to go with the plus 21. And that gives us 21x. And 21 times negative 3 is going to give us negative 63. And we subtract. Negative 1 minus negative 63 is going to give us 62 positive. And this here is our remainder. Alright, so we found our remainder. So what we find is that this can be written as 3x squared plus 7x plus 21, and we've got this remainder, which is a 62, and we have to write that as a fraction over our divisor, x minus 3. So that goes over here, x minus 3. So that's how we write our remainder, and so these two expressions are equal, and that's division with long division. Now let's see how this same problem works with synthetic division. Now to use synthetic division here, we're going to start off by taking our numerator here, and we're going to write out the coefficients, 3, negative 2. Now again, we need to have this x term, so we have a 0x hiding in there. So we need to put a 0 and a negative 1. And then our number that we're going to put here in the box is going to be the 0, the number that makes this 0. And so the number that makes this 0 is positive 3. Okay, so we're going to put in positive 3 here. Okay, all right. Step 1, we're going to bring down the 3, and then remember synthetic division is the opposite here as far as adding and subtracting. So we're going to multiply 3 times 3, and that gives us 9. And then we're going to add these things. So negative 1 plus 9 gives us 7. And then we have 3 times 7 gives us 21. And we're going to add, and that gives us 21. And then once again, 3 times 21 is going to give us up here, it's going to give us 63. And we're going to add, and we get 62. This right here is our remainder. And whenever we divide by a linear term, we're dividing by a linear here, because this is x to the first. It's going to drop the power by 1. So this represents 3x squared plus 7x plus 21, and that's the quotient. And so what this tells us is that our division is 3x squared plus 7x plus 21 plus, again, the remainder, let's try that again, the remainder 62 over x minus 3. And we get the same answer, of course. Okay? Now, you might want to note here that these terms right here, these should look pretty familiar. Well, those of course look familiar. That's the quotient. We already said that. Okay? But these terms right here, let's see, there they are. Okay? 9, 21, and 63. Do you recognize the 9, 21, and 63? 9, 21, and 63. Notice they're opposites, and since the reason that they're opposites there is because we're using the adding instead of subtracting. Okay? So finally, by longhand division, we can get this polynomial, or by synthetic division, we get the same polynomial. Okay? And remember, if this remainder is 0, then we found out that x minus 3 is a factor of this polynomial here. But since we had a remainder of 62, x minus 3 is not a remainder of this. So there you have it. Good luck.